We're looking today at Worship in a Flash, an exciting new offering from Abingdon Press that brings together hundreds of worship resources and puts them at your fingertips. Worship in a Flash comes in two editions, first for Advent and Christmas, the second for Lent and Easter. Both are contained on standard USB flash drives. What I have done is copy the contents of those drives to my desktop for ease of access. I'm opening that directory now. As you can see, it's comprised of two parts. The first is all of the text resources in a PDF file and projection images. We're going to return to those in a minute. First thing we're going to do is open up the PDF and go to the contents page. As you see, we have both preaching and worship resources. If you are a thematic preacher, then we've offered two separate offerings for each of the Sundays of Advent, as well as the Sundays of Christmas Eve, Christmas Sunday, and Epiphany. You have two choices for each of those. Let's take a look at the Advent Sermon Series 1. Hop down to that, and this gives you a suggested scripture, as well as providing the scripture itself from the Common English Bible translation, and then a sample sermon that you can use in preparing your own. Hop back up to the top. Go back down to the contents page. If you are a lectionary preacher, Worship in a Flash provides lectionary sermons from all of the Sundays of Advent and Christmas for all 3 years of the lectionary cycle. Let's take a look at the first Sunday of Advent, Year A. Once again, you see that it lists the scripture. Here's the Old Testament lesson with the full scripture provided from the Common English Bible, a sample sermon. Scroll down, and you'll see the same Sunday, this time the epistle reading and a sample sermon. And finally, the gospel reading with a sample sermon. Hop back up to the top, go to the contents page. Let's say that in addition to sermon planning, you want to plan the worship service itself. Worship in a Flash provides you excellent opportunities for that. Let's go down to the prayers and services section. What we do is we give you a choice. You can either pick up a complete service or you can pick and choose. Right here we're going to look at the first Sunday of Advent and the complete service. This gives you, lays out an entire service for you. Calls to worship, opening prayer, prayer of confession, words of assurance. It gives the Old Testament and the gospel reading, and it gives a complete sermon that you can use in planning your own sermon, as well as other prayers and litany materials, and concluding with a benediction. Let's hop back up to the top. Go to the contents page. Say that you don't want to use that complete service. You want to be able to choose for yourself. So what you do is you go down to the prayers and services section and go to the prayers and litanies subsection of that. Here we are in the first Sunday of Advent. This offers several different selections from each type of prayer. So gathering words, calls to worship for the first Sunday of Advent, opening prayer for the first Sunday of Advent, and so on. I'm going to hop back up to the top. Now that you've gotten some ideas for your sermon, now that you have selected several different prayers for the sermon, or perhaps even a complete service, now you want to get some hymns and praise song suggestions. Click on the contents, go down to the suggested music section. And again, this is organized by Sundays within the season of Advent and Christmas. Click on First Sunday of Advent. Gives you both traditional hymns and contemporary hymns and songs that you can choose for the first and then the second Sunday of Advent, and so on. Finally, you want to include visual elements in your service planning. Go back down to the contents page, scroll down all the way to the bottom, and click on the projection images section. Open that up. This shows you the several different subsections, subdirectories that we have. Let's say that you want to have some pictures of candles that you include. Yeah. There's one there. Here's another one here. Or churches. Or say you're preaching on Mary and Joseph's journey from Nazareth up to Bethlehem. And they're going, perhaps the escape from Bethlehem down to Egypt. We have images of the wilderness, for example. Open that up. All sorts of different images you can use on a wilderness theme. All of these images are royalty-free and are cleared for permission to use in congregations. And that's it. Worship in a Flash can be obtained from Cokesbury or from fine bookstores everywhere or from fine stores online. Thanks very much. God bless you and your congregation during this season of Advent or this season of Lent.